So Prime Minister now returns from reviewing the project. He has reviewed the Kedarpuri projects, the progress of those projects, and now is walking towards the statue of Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya was all of 32. He attained moksha, and there is a samadhi right behind the Kedarnath temple. Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya is credited with reuniting our country in the Sanatan spiritual bond, from Rameshwaram to Jagannath Puri, from Badrinath to Dwarkadhish, and up within the state of Uttarakhand, the Char Dhams that include Gangotri, Jamnotri, Badrinath and Kedarnath. From Kedarnath, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be flying to Badrinath, where he will participate in prayers at the Badrinath temple. There are already chants of Bol Badri Vishal Ki Jai, which incidentally is also the war cry of the Garhwal Rifles Regiment of the Indian Army. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will then be a part of the prayers at Badrinath temple. From Badrinath temple, the Prime Minister will inaugurate a road that is coming up, and these are very crucial roads. While these are extremely critical for spiritual tourism and religious tourism within Uttarakhand, they are also strategic roads. Mana is known as the last village along the line of along the border and LAC in parts of these areas, but this is where these crucial roads also end up being strategic roads for the armed forces, and that is why a lot of emphasis is being laid on the construction of roads in this area. Despite protests, certain environmentalists may have raised objections to roads in some of these areas, but what they do not keep in mind is that apart from encouraging religious tourism, these roads also play a very critical role in the protection of our country from expansionist forces in the region and in India's neighborhood. So environment is important, but protecting the country is even more important from external aggressors, is the point that the strategic community tries to make at all points of time. But at this point of time, of course, there is a prayer at the Badrinath temple. He's also then to travel to Ayodhya for Deepotsav. Remember, Dashera marks the victory of good over evil. Diwali marks the return of Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram, Ma Sita, Lakshman and Hanuman back to Ayodhya after 14 years in exile, and that is where people in Ayodhya lit those earthen lamps outside their homes to mark Diwali or the return of Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram. Those earthen lamps, now there is an attempt being made to set a world record, lighting more than 15 lakh of those lamps. So the Ayodhya administration officials India Today spoke to said they are targeting 17 lakhs. 17 lakh lamps will be lit, each with 40 ml oil, 40 milliliters of oil in them, on Deepotsav, on the 23rd of the month. A day before Deepotsav, the Prime Minister will light the first diya, and thousands of school children and National Cadet Corps, NCC cadets will also be a part of that lighting ceremony. But for a moment, I want to focus on the clothes that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is wearing. The Chola Dora dress made by women in Chamba in Himachal Pradesh. But what's also very significant in this traditional Himachali dress is the swasti or the swastik sign embroidered on the Prime Minister's back. And this is a very auspicious Hindu symbol. Swasti, or benefit or advantage or good for all, is the sign of swasti. Good, auspicious in every direction is what this sign is all about. Of course, this was misused by forces in Europe in the Second World War, but there is an effort and a conscious effort that's being made by Hindus almost across the world to regain and retain our most auspicious symbol of Swasti. If the world sees this in the wrong light, then it is high time that the world starts seeing this symbol for what it truly is, which means may there be positivity in every direction, which is what is also the prayer that was recited, that was chanted here for the Prime Minister and also by the Prime Minister. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukh bhat bhavid. This was a prayer along with the Mahamrityunjay mantra and several others that have been chanted here through the morning today. But before we tell you more about this, I quickly want to cut across to Badrinath Dham, where the Prime Minister will be in a couple of hours from now. We bring you this report from Badrinath.
It is one of the holiest pilgrimage sites in India, the Badrinath Dham. Located at 11,000 feet above the sea level in the mighty Chamoli hills along the Alaknanda river. Dedicated to Lord Vishnu, the abode of Badrinarayan, the presiding deity. The black granite statue finds mention in prehistoric Vedic scriptures and is believed to be Swayambhu or self-manifesting. The ancient temple was consecrated in the 9th century by Adi Shankaracharya. His religious teachings and rituals still continue. Lakhs of pilgrims assemble at Badrinath every 6 months, with chants of Jai Badri Vishal when the doors of the shrine opens after winter break. This time, fresh snowfall has brought fresh enthusiasm and spell of devotion to the age-old site. The temple is all decked up for the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with flowers on the main shrine and fresh coats of paint in the premises.
डेवलपमेंट करना चाहिए इधर, तो आने वाला समय के लिए बढ़िया है. फिर भी पुराना हमारा धार्मिक स्थान पूरा कैसे देखे उसके बारे में पूरा करना तो और अच्छा है.
The Prime Minister's last Badrinath trip was amid the hurly-burly of elections, but full of religious fervour and adulation by devotees. Now, Uttarakhand CM Pushkar Dhami is himself overseeing preparations for the PM trip. After Kedarnath, Modi will be in Badrinath, where he'll spend the night. A puja in the shrine and review of Badrinath master plan are on the PM's agenda. A visit to Mana, the last Indian village on the China border, is also on the cards. Bureau Report, India Today.
So from Jai Baba Kedar to Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this is where Prime Minister Narendra Modi heads from Kedarnath to Badrinath as part of his spiritual journey as Prime Minister of India. A lot of development projects also to be inaugurated at Badrinath.